We also may need to go back.
Well, yes, you will need to go back, but we are live now. If I remember
Oh,
correctly, you guys made it back up the river, and you're now just inside of Port Nianru.
Yeah, we went back to the places, to our houses and stuff.
Okay. Well, in the morning, I think we're one day away from the festival, weren't we? You got back a day early.
Yes, just in time for the festival.
All right.
I will, of course, direct Parch to the duck if she wishes, or otherwise get her in the direction of the other hotel. Depending on whether or not she wants the best company for the night.
I'm fairly certain you already set her up with a room when you got back.
I might have done so. I know I set up the other dude.
Which other dude?
The guy who fell from the sky.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Because I think Parch went with Callie or Kai. Sorry, you did set up the guy from the sky. Yes, I forgot about that.
I definitely did.
Anyway, in the morning, the Mistress of the Duck is starting to tell people to go out and prepare. Basically, a lot of the services of the Duck are closed down today because they're preparing the streets with the rest of the town, getting ready to celebrate the festival. So they're running minimal services and minimal on duty hookers. Everybody's getting paid a standard rate of 1 gold per day to do the decorating. Parch, do you remember where if you were at the Duck or if you went to the other place with Kai?
I was not there for the festival.
She had left before we
Yes.
Oh, okay.
got to
Well,
that point.
So I'm assuming.
would you have gone to a very well-known hotel that appears in many areas, but is known for its companion services and its raucous bar, or would you have gone to a quieter hotel where you're basically guaranteed to get a good night's sleep and there's going to be no ruckus behavior at all?
The quieter hotel.
Okay. Um, in that case, when War Priest, Kai, and Parch get up, because all of them would have gone to that hotel, the owners of the hotel are there and they're serving a special breakfast this morning consisting of only ethnic Chaltish food. So there's no like roasted anything. It's all weird lizard slash um, lizard creature type foods and dinosaur meats and things like that. There's nothing that a foreigner would typically recognize here today. And they have saved prime cuts for War Priest, uh, given his history with them.
And War Priest will probably accept it with grace.
Yeah, that's the thing he does. Um, and if they join him, then the same sort of uh, prime cuts will be extended to them. Yes, War Priest's grace of screaming gay at prime cuts of meat. Anybody want to do anything this morning or go around
If
town and look for something or anything at all?
If I know Kai, she is too busy tasting every little thing she can get her hands on and taking note of its required taste.
But you have stopped to eat before you drove yourself to complete and utter collapse.
Yep, probably. She would have eaten and taken notes on every little bite of food she was taking and trying and detailing everything about it.
Oh no. You're one of those people who tweets out your food.
She has to do research for college. She is a teacher.
More like scrolls it in. She writes it in a scroll or so. Man, these kids are gonna be the worst educated kids in the world because they're gonna have to memorize her breakfasts on every day she was in Chult. What happened on the 5th of Scorch? You started off with lizard jerky, you downed a thing of ale, and then you went out to the river where some guy got caught on fire.
How many grains of rice?
Trick question, there were no grains of rice. You ate plants instead. 15 blades of grass.
Hey, the college said do research. That's what she's doing. They didn't specify what type of research. They said go and do things.
And they are gonna regret it later.
She probably has about a giant chest full of scrolls of her adventures right now.
But anyway, there's, the entire city is available and ready to run around. So what do you guys want to do on your day off before the party day?
I'm going shopping.
Are you going to go to Red Square? Or are you going to go to the merchant district with the nice merchant houses? Or are you going to go to like the jewels and fine crafts area?
I am going to go to the crafted stuff. So like your blacksmith and your armorer, that place.
All right, so there's going to be 2 sections of that. There's Red Square, which has all your common and some better stores. And then you're going to have the artisan section where everything is custom made and everything is made with the highest arts and craftsmanship.
Okay. Is there a place that I can get, say, like my great axe upgraded, maybe with like enchanted?
So that'll end up, for enchantments, you're going to be going to the Magic Ward.
Okay.
Which is just at the end of Red Square, basically.
Okay, I'm going there.
So I call it Red Square, but it's actually the Red Bazaar. When it rains, water runoff off of the roof runs red with blood and runs through the street, and it's only in that quarter, that area of the city. Everywhere else, the rain is
Oh,
normal.
lovely.
So that's why they call it the Red Bazaar.
All right, well, she's heading there.
All right. As usual, it's pretty busy here. It's died down significantly since some idiot challenged Prince to a match, and no longer do people have to scry her. So you can pretty much get into most of the stores. Is there a specific type of enchantment you're looking for?
Like, I'm thinking like maybe fire damage or, yeah. Wait, no, not fire damage. I'll do electricity. Like some sort of like elemental enchantment. Yes.
I'm just looking for the rules on enchantment prices.
That is okay. I need to see how much money how much money do I have?
I'm pretty sure War Priest is going to go and continue his observance of the religion of the area. Since that's just the thing that he's been doing.
Are you enchanting the Morning Star or are you enchanting the axe?
The great axe.
Does it have a bonus on it already?
Nope, it is just a great axe. So that's why I would like an enchantment. Enchantment.
She says enchantment with a slight accent.
Well, I'm thinking of Dragon Age Origins with our good old friends and his enchantments.
I miss my werewolf stuff.
Douglas is gonna sell all the garbage and hold on to the soul gems because we're not exactly in the business of giving away souls. You know, unless this is like a Skyrim thing, and those soul gems are what you need in order to enchant your weapons.
All right. So what spell specifically do you want to enchant on it?
A basic fire spell. Like, as basic as you can get with an enchantment. Because that will be the cheapest.
But you meant lightning spell, not fire.
Oh, yeah, lightning.
So are we talking about something along the lines of a cantrip, or do you want a level 1? Or something like chain lightning?
Chain lightning. Depending on how much it is.
A very large amount, because it's a level 6.
Never mind. We'll do the basic. We'll do the first option.
Call lightning is level 3. Lightning bolt is level 3. All the lightning ones I see are actually level 3. Casey, what's your spell that you can do like a lightning bolt quickly, your cantrip?
I have none that are lightning.
I didn't want to do a spell. I just wanted to, like, have my great axe do, like, additional, like, a 1d4 of lightning damage or something like that. because I can't physically learn spells, it's basically just like putting a flashy rune on my weapon.
Let me calculate how much a lightning bolt would cost, and then I will adjust lower. Because a lightning bolt adds 8d6 lightning damage on a failed save. And if you could afford that, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
On the bright side, it looks like everything that uses in the components is cheap. So that actually determines the price of it.
Flaming Frost, Ice Burst, Shock. Is this 3/5? This is 3/5. This doesn't help me.
Okay, so to put that on, it's going to be 3,130 gold to add lightning bolt to it.
Well, have we gotten any money from the recent missions that we've done? At this point, I'm better than probably. I'm just gonna go not do that and look for something else, and then you can come back to me. I don't have that.
You probably do have that because you would have had starting gold. Did we do your starting gold?
Nope. I just gave myself, when I created Parch, I gave myself, like, average, quote-unquote, level of wealth for someone who is medium class.
Roll 1d10.
Okay. Where dice tower?
Okay, so you actually have 1250 starting gold.
Okay. Still can't afford the enchantment, but I'll find something else. Come back to me. I'm gonna peruse.
Don't forget, you have things that you can sell, and Casey. So War Priest demands that everybody split everything equally. So when Casey sells everything, he's going to come to you with extra money.
Sweet. Okay.
Jake is the nearly insane. An insane man who hated the sound of other voices was infused into this sword. I don't know how I landed here. But that was me looking for 5e magic.
Alright, so you said you're selling everything except the soul gems and the Morning
Everything.
Star for Lorien.
And my gate scrolls. Oh, they're still garbage. You forgot to give money to Sasmo.
No, I didn't.
No, Douglas would have factored in Sasmo.
I know he would have, but I'm giving Sasmo different money.
Okay.
Also, for some reason, leather armor doesn't show up as a thing, so maybe I have to type studded leather.
It was just listed as leather.
But it's actually studded leather. And it's not letting me do that.
Oh, that's annoying.
There we go. I got rid of the rest of it.
Yay. We did it, Reddit.
So the way that the price breakdown worked for that weapon, by the way, was it was $23.80 just to do a great axe, and then the bonus on top of that was actually the cost of the spell components required to do it.
Okay.
So your target goal was $23.80, and that's to get a cantrip on it.
Okay.
So you're out shopping. Anybody else want to do anything?
Douglas is going to go out and purchase the best ingredients he possibly can, because he's got to cook up something really good for the dragon.
I see. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa Douglas.
Absolutely. It's going to make a big serving for him, so he's planning on making a few servings worth.
How big is a big serving to Douglas?
Well, let's see. How big is the dragon?
Like, what's the diameter of this pizza that you're making?
Let's I guess I can't really move it if it's house-sized. So we'll go with half a house-sized.
Got it. So you're going to spend about 100 gold, well, probably 50 gold actually, on ingredients. But if you want to go for the best ingredients, you're going to drop about 250.
Douglas promised. Douglas has to follow his promise.
All right, 250 it is. You're going to hire a chef to make this? Or, like,
No?
any help? Because this is a rather big thing for Douglas to make.
Alright, I'll hire a sous chef.
Skilled labor runs at 5 gold per day.
Good
Unskilled
enough.
labor is 25 silver.
What was
Unskilled labor is 25 silver.
that? Okay.
The real question is, do you want a competent wizard to levitate this off the ground and another to cook it with fire bolts?
You telling me I'm not going to be able to get this in the kitchen?
Not if it's half the size of a house. I mean, I wasn't expecting you to go along with the idea of making pizza, but if you want to make pizza for it, pizza is big and spreads out.
That it does. Well, I guess I am going to need to hire a wizard.
To cast levitate? Or to cook
To
it?
cast levitate, Douglas has firebolt.
Okay then. Let me check the price of a levitate spell.
Or rather, Douglas can do the levitating. Douglas doesn't have levitate, but Douglas can levitate it.
It's gonna be 450 gold to levitate the pizza.
450 gold
Yep.
to levitate a pizza.
That's a level 2 spell.
Alright, Douglas is doing it himself.
Is Douglas going out of town to make this pizza, or is Douglas going to make a massive explosion of pizza in town?
Oh, that's a good idea. If I'm doing it outside, I can make it a whole house size rather than half a house size.
I thought you were doing it outside. I didn't realize you were trying to make this inside of a house and then fit it out a door.
Yeah, that's the reason it was only going to be half a house, so I could fit it out the door. But if it's a whole house size,
Your
then I
doors
can
are not
get it.
like half a house wide, right?
Well, I mean, we could have figured it out.
Perhaps you should go find somebody as crazy as you to help take on this task.
Nobody is as crazy as Douglas. Wait a second. Douglas can have help. He has a friend who happens to know a lot of people. And he can probably give me a hand. He owes me for life.
What are we talking about now?
Douglas has a friend that can help him. And it's going to be the guy who was going to initially take him on over to the cooks, to the whole cooking guild and all that stuff, but didn't do it.
Well, that's because you left town before you did it.
Well, that's true.
Now
So I'm
might be
gonna
a
have
good
him
time
help
to
me
go to
out.
the cooking guild and ask for help instead of hiring a wizard.
Then the cooking guild's gonna take over the whole thing. I promised him that I would make it with my own two hands.
So you're gonna go find the dying man, and then you're gonna have him help you out with this.
Yeah,
I mean, he's obviously going to help you, so what are you asking him to help do exactly?
Well, we're gonna need a plate to put the whole thing on first. I'm gonna need him to help me create something of an oven of sorts. Like, it doesn't need to be good, but I'm just gonna need a little bit of handiwork with it. Like a makeshift oven type thing. So we can bake it.
Can he make it in parts?
Yes.
Then you can use his pottery oven. It's bigger than a standard oven, and you can, as long as you can do it in parts, you should be fine.
We just make it one slice of pizza at a time.
When I say it's bigger than a normal oven, I mean you could lay a full person in it because he does a lot of work at once.
All right, well, that's the size of our pizza then. With one slice of pizza goes inside the whole oven.
Okay.
We are going to make the whole pizza, mind you. But
He would like to know how you plan on transporting it after you take it out of the oven. Also,
no idea.
Roll a common sense roll. We'll use wisdom for this. Nope, got no clue.
But you can put it on a giant plate and then wheelbarrow it downtown.
Your buddy stops you and asks when you plan on delivering this food, because if it's meant to be eaten hot, it might not be good to cook it today.
But the festival's today, isn't it?
No, the festival's tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was today.
No, you guys are in the day before the festival.
Oh, I thought it was today. Okay. Well, let's at least get this whole thing set up and ready anyway.
All right, I'll go around and get stuff with you. Anybody who's going to be walking around outside observing people setting up should roll a perception check.
Well, I guess by being outdoors and purchasing things, I am going to be outside.
That's the question. Am I going to be outside or am I going to be in my hotel room making electric punch?
All I heard was, am I going to be outside or am I going to be in my hotel room with holistic touching?
No, I'm debating if Kaya's going to be making a list of questions for the turtle or if she's going to be wandering around outside taking notes on the festivities while people are setting up.
All right. Roll a D100 in the dice tower. And then tell me which way is your happy direction, high or low.
Hang on, I gotta grab chargers first. I forgot to transport stuff to the media room.
Oh yeah, I forgot we got a 10% discount on food.
Actually, when you go to buy this amount of food, the lady that runs the food shops comes over to you and lets you know that you have purchased enough food in this city that you are considered a VIP member, and you now get a 25% discount.
Huh. Is that effective this meal or effective after this meal?
It's effective after this purchase that you just made today.
Okay.
She also tells you that your bar will now allow you entrance to the artisan quarters, where they have a special private market for people that buy food from her often. I've just been assuming that you keep going back to her because she had the neat little payment system you liked, as opposed to looking around town.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It was less messy.
So for the record, Parch, what happens in this city is the merchants, the merchant princes and the higher end merchants set up houses where they live and display all of their merchandise, and you can just walk in and buy stuff and walk out. A lot of them have these little rods that they set up where if you take something from their property, it basically attaches it to your account, and then you get billed at the end of the month. And by billed, I mean so they send somebody to you asking to collect payment for the month's worth of purchases. If you don't pay, then things get a bit weird. But like I said, in the higher end stores, they kind of expect you to just walk into a merchant prince's house and be like, I want this magic item. Here's money. And the prince is just like, yeah, sure, here you go. There's a demo in the corner if you want to try it. Also, there is a massive ogre in the area with all the blacksmiths, and there's this massive shop that is entirely manned by albino dwarves, all outside surrounding this massive ogre, and they're all pounding away on their own different magic. And there's a very nice showroom on the inside with a merchant that is willing to sell things to you.
Okay.
As a fighter, I know you would see the ogre and be like, that's weird. So that's something that everybody notes when they go to town.
Yeah.
You know, I just realized that I should have been paying guild dues each month for 5 gold a month. Let's see, what month are we in? We're on like the 2nd month right now, right?
You just started the 3rd month.
Just started the 3rd month? Alright. I'll deduct those fees.
Am I rolling a D100 in the dice tower, Ghost?
Yep, and then tell me which is your happy direction.
Casey, which way is my happy direction again?
Always low.
So...
Is happy stay indoors or happy go outdoors?
Probably indoors, but outside.
It can't be both.
Probably outside, because outside is where fun stuff is going on.
Okay, then you went outside and walked around all day. So go ahead and roll that perception I've been waiting on.
Sorry, I was grabbing chargers.
All right. So as you guys are outside today, you notice that there is a procession of Chaltish priests, which all seem to be going to Kuwait's house.
Nope.
They appear to be very solemn.
I'm curious. I'm gonna ask what's going on.
When you ask what's going on, you hear that the rumor around town is that Kuwaith was found dead in his mansion this morning.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alright, I give my condolences and continue my way on.
As a scholar, I'm going to ask, do they know exactly what caused it?
They are very unsure of what could have caused it. There wild speculation that the god himself, Ebles, came down and smote him. There's some speculation that one of his animals finally did him in. There's more speculation that maybe he was trying to create a new weapon and he killed himself with it by accident. But nobody really knows because the Chaltish priests are not allowing anybody in at the moment until they clean up the mansion, at which point it will go to his heir. And we'll resume business as usual.
Oh no.
Kinda glad DuPont was dead.
It's going to the guy.
What guy?
The guy who I just kind of pissed off.
The tribal warrior?
Yes.
No. Kuwait has an heir.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to like him any better, but he has an heir.
Oh. Probably not, but he probably will not inherit the Death Wish for me.
But he could.
Probably will not, but I mean, it's one of those things that like I could probably actually walk by the front of the house rather than taking the long way around every time.
Rather than getting Sasmo to turn you into a gerbil.
Oh no! Every time I have to go by that house, like no matter what, I am using a changed person on myself in order to just walk by that house. It's an alter self.
I figured you were doing something similar. Anyway, for Parch, Kuwait is the hunter prince that had a lot of animals and a lot of weapons. He was also a very devout Cheltish acolyte.
Okay.
He was Gaston.
I was gonna be all like, hey, we're hunters, we're both hunters, we should be friends, teach me where to find the big game. And now that plan is ruined.
You did hear a rumor that there was an animal that killed him. Might want to go hunting in his backyard.
I don't want to go avenge him. Kai doesn't even know him. Why should she avenge a guy she doesn't know?
That's not
He did have an
vengeance.
animal in
That's
his yard.
hunting a big-ass animal. I mean, what other animal besides a big-ass animal could kill a big-ass man who kept a tiger as a pet and would hold it and pet it like it was a kitten?
I'm going to go DuPont's not alive and actually died because you probably just feel like what just happened and how do I fix it?
Anyway, the rest of the day is going to go off without a hitch for you, Casey. You're going to go get all your stuff, get stuff prepared, I'm assuming. Is there anything Kai wants to do in town? Is she going to go shopping or anything like that?
With how much notes she's been taking, she's probably going to go after some paper and some charcoal and some skulls because she's going to need a lot.
Standard for price for paper and ink.
Yep, that's what she's going to do. She's going to go be like, I need paper, stuff, these school-related things.
Paper is 2 silver per sheet. Ink is 10 gold per ounce, so I guess I'll look for charcoal for you here.
I mean, I think she has ink, but I think she's mainly writing things down with charcoal.
Sorry, I'm trying to find something to write with in here because all I can find is the ink and ink pen.
I also found out what I'm going to buy.
I'm gonna say charcoal is probably a silver per rod of it because I can't find anything even similar to it. What would you like to buy?
If I can, or if a shop would have it, I would like to buy serpent venom. If I can drag the item in. No.
What did you say? Serpent what?
Serpent venom. 200 gold.
I'd say that would be a standard 200 gold. So you're
Yes.
good on that.
I would like to take 4 vials worth, so 800 worth of gold. Worth of venom.
Alrighty. You can do that.
That I will then apply to my weapon. So instead of enchanting, I will just do that for now. Oops, oops, oops. Okay.
So I get the impression the news of this death will eventually reach me, but how long will that be before it does?
News of what?
News of Kuwait's death.
Actually, Parch, before you buy the venom, I want you to roll a perception for while you're walking around the forges area.
Okay.
So, news of his death will reach you pretty much as soon as you go outside. It's pretty much everything that everybody's talking about. Would you have investigated the forge with the ogre?
Yes. I just see smoke.
Oh, wow, that is bad.
Yeah, I see smoke.
The shopkeep will probably walk over to you and be like, "Hello there, milady. I notice you're admiring our fine ogre friend here."
Yes, I wouldn't have expected to see an ogre. Quite fascinating.
Bongo is quite the man. You know, he left his tribe and started forging because he really liked the shiny metals that the dwarves that would attempt to kill him were wearing.
What does he make?
He makes some pretty crude but effective weapons and armor. I can show you something he's made if you'd like.
I would love to.
So he walks you into the shop, and you see all these really nice weapons on the wall, beautiful things arranged in order of price, lowest price near the floor, highest price near the roof. And then he walks into a back room and says, wait right here, and comes back with a helm, a shield, and a big blue glowing great axe. It's like half a size larger than a standard great axe. And everything here looks really crude. Like, nobody's going to wear this to a tournament to stand out and look good, but this stuff is definitely sturdy.
How much is it for that great axe?
You would need to talk to Obongo about that, but this axe was one of his most recent creations, and we're not sure how he did it. It's weird. He seems to be God-touched, but we're not sure why.
It is quite a nice weapon. I would love to talk to him to see how much he would be willing to sell me for that.
I'll warn you, you're going to have to be a little careful with it. It does seem to conduct lightning through its body, so you may end up shocking yourself by picking it up. About half of the people that try to wield it shock themselves.
I am made out of fire. A little lightning would not hurt me.
All right. Do you require a translator to speak with Obongo, or can you speak Ogre?
Oh, I do not speak Ogre. Yes, I will need a translator.
I'll have one of the dwarves translate for you. He leads you back over and then calls over Obongo and one of the dwarves, and he just explains that he's holding the axe up, of course. He explains that you would like to buy the axe, and Obongo will need to discuss price with you. So the dwarf introduces himself. His name is Jin, Jyn, and he'll do the negotiation for you. He was wondering how much you would like to spend on the axe, because Obongo is a very simple man, and he likes to have a little bit of a back and forth.
Starting price for my barter, I will do we'll do 1,000 gold.
He turns to Obongo. He says something in Ogre. Obongo snorts heavily, and then just walks back, throws up his hands, and says, "You win." And he says, "You win" in common.
Okay, give me.
Yeah. So the shopkeep will ask you for the 1,000 gold, and then hand you the axe.
Okay, I shall take the axe.
Okay, so you have a great axe of lightning, and I'll give it to you. I found out how to actually forge the items here, and it calculates the price automatically.
Nice. How much was it actually?
353 gold.
Fuck it! Part has no concept of money. Just like, this looks nice. It does things. Take the money.
It's a very nice axe for that. Apparently, you just combine weapons that already exist in the forge in the game here, and it will actually combine them. I tried putting spells on it, it wouldn't work, and then boom, put together the Javelin of Lightning with a great axe, and this is what we got.
Nice.
There you go. It's in your inventory and probably automatically added to your attacks. Obongo didn't think anybody could be a worse negotiator than Obongo.
Let me just try it out, see what happens. Looks like it's doing the same amount as what the Great Axe does.
On a failed save of Dex 13, it does 4d4 damage and lightning.
Okay. I just didn't know if the lightning damage would also show up on that calculation.
Hey, you could probably set up a target button.
Say, I'll just stick Tribal Warrior here, and you can attack Tribal Warrior because he's already in there, and we'll find out if it automatically does it.
Let me find him. Where is he? Hold on.
He's in orangish towards the bottom.
Hold on. This is going to be like a search and find. I am great where I can't find crap where it's right in front of my face, so give me a sec. Ooh. So it's at the bottom of the map?
No,
it's on the combat
in the
tracker.
Combat tracker. So if you just open the combat tracker, you can do the normal stuff there.
Okay.
It's right up on the very top there. The cross swords.
Oh, okay. How do I attack him from here?
You can control click him in order to target him.
Okay.
And then just roll the hit.
There, I did the target for you.
Okay, thank you. Roll the hit. I don't know if that did the lightning. I saw other dice roll and like
you did you did heavy damage to him and he took system shock.
Okay.
So no, it didn't do lightning. It looks like we're gonna have to set up a probably a cantrip for you so that you can just run it against anybody you successfully hit. So I'm not sure how to modify the axe to automatically do the lightning.
What would I have to roll for that anyway? What does the lightning damage do? What dice roll? Because I'll just roll that regular.
So it's actually in the description. It still thinks it's a javelin because I combined a great axe and a javelin. But basically it casts a bolt of lightning 5 feet wide that extends to a target within 120 feet. Each creature in the line, including you and the target, make a DC Dex save, taking 4d6 lightning damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful save. The lightning bolt turns back into the javelin, so yeah, it doesn't matter, and make a ranged weapon attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes damage. So this is if you throw it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take the damage that you just cast plus 4d6 more lightning on top of it.
Okay. I mean, if it just makes it easier, I have a javelin. I can just have a javelin of lightning instead of doing the combination.
If you want to just have it as a javelin of lightning, use all the same stats because it doesn't change the attack on it at all.
Okay.
Okay,
then I'll just.
It'll still be 1d12, and then you'll get the 4d6 lightning.
Okay, then I'll just keep it as a great axe. I didn't know if it was going to help fix the problem.
No, because it looks like it just took the javelin's information and changed the base damage to a great axe damage.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's an initial saving throw for everybody involved. if you're going to make it shoot the lightning out. And if you're not going to make it shoot the lightning out, then you can just do the 4d6 on a successful hit.
Okay. Good to know. I just needed to know. All right, how many additional dice am I going to have to roll?
I'm actually creating the lightning effect on my sheet here, so you can just push the button and it'll roll versus their dex, and then just automatically, and then roll the damage.
Okay.
How do you add the effect like that? I've never been able to just add effect.
It's just right click on the thing itself, go to add action, then just add effect.
That's weird. It never existed for me until I right-clicked on yours. I was trying to do that
accidentally
before.
Get rid of it.
And then you delete it. Good job.
I just want to add cast save is.
All right, so while you guys doing that, what was your question before about the day, Casey? You asked me something right after you asked how long it would take for you to get the news that Kuwait was dead.
That was it.
Okay, what about you, Kai? What do you want to do?
No damage on save, is that correct?
Half damage on save.
Half on success, okay.
No, full on success. I'm sorry, no, half on successful save. You're right.
Yeah. What's the DC?
13.
13, okay.
You'll actually have to make two different ones. One is cast lightning from the axe, and the other is actually lightning just added to the axe.
You can just have it as lightning added to the axe.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's no save or anything for the one that's added to the axe when you hit, so we can just add that directly to the axe.
Alright, that's an easy one then.
Yeah, I'll add it right now. Because you don't need to do anything special because there's no save. It just auto hits when you hit.
I mean, honestly, if you just take the effect that I have for Colossus Slayer and just take that effect over and just edit the damage, then you can do it the same as if they.
But I don't need to do that. She can't turn the lightning off on the axe. When the axe strikes you, it just automatically gets plus 4d6.
And this would be a ranged attack then?
No, it is direct hit. So when I hit them with the great axe, it does the additional lightning damage too.
Yes. So there's two ways you can use the great axe. You can hold it forward and cast lightning, or you can hit them. If you cast lightning, they have to do the save and all that. But if you just hit them, they automatically get 4d6 added to the damage.
Save type dex, DC is a fixed 13. And then the damage was what?
4d6.
damage. Two, three, 46. Lightning damage. Alright, so altogether, if I target Tribal Warrior,
Did that handle it?
took it. Yeah, it looks like it did.
All right, good. Because now I'm gonna do the full damage to him. Yep. So there we go. The 4d6 is added.
Ah.
Let me make sure that it works with the half here. No, that was a failure. That was also a failure. Damn you, Valinja, do better. Said do better. Dear Lord. Try and actually save Valinja. There we go. Let's see if this halves. Alright, that did halve. Okay. Alright. Lightning Axe cast. And then go ahead and move that over.
All right, you got that on our sheet and everything?
I've got it on my sheet. You're going to have to move it over for me. Because I can't view your sheet.
Oh, I thought you could do that.
Nope. And then using it's just hit the button next to save and then roll, then hit the damage button beneath it.
So, not cast, save.
Save, yes. You also need to target somebody who's not dead.
Tribal Warrior is now very dead.
I mean, he's been auto-failing, so that's good enough. All right, you're good. It's there.
Yay. And
Yeah.
that smash things even more.
I'm just leaving these on my sheet for now as templates for future creation.
Fair enough. So, we've got Douglas going out and doing his grocery shopping. We got Parch doing her grocery shopping. Uh, and we got Kai running around making notes and getting paper. Anything else anybody wants to do in this one day before the festival?
Nope, other than taking notes and admiring the beautiful scenery around her. Kai is content.
Roll perception, Kai. Better ingredients, big sauce. As you walk around, you notice some of the kids are wearing homemade masks as they run around the city. Some of them kind of look like a turtle thing, some of them don't. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to know any more about them, that's okay.
What about the masks?
Yeah, I figured that would be something that's up your alley that you want to know.
Of course I want to know how they made these and what they are and how can I get one.
I mean, they're basic wooden masks that the kids made themselves, but if you wait around till the end of the day, at twilight, everybody's going to put out the masks they have, and in the morning, they'll be for sale. And you can buy them and wear them around, and they're good luck on the festival day.
Yeah, she's going to know about these things. It's her nature to do stuff.
Anything else Parch wants to do before nightfall and Benny Bye time and all that shit?
Nope, I'm good.
How about you, Douglas, before you return to the dock and retire for the night?
I don't know, do we have a massive plate-ish thing that we can wheelbarrow out already?
I mean, you can take carts on loan from the dock.
All right, I'm gonna make sure that the delivery system is ready, and we'll get on the cooking for tomorrow. After that, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else.
All right. So when you get back to the dock, the mistress pulls you aside and immediately says, "Are you expecting people in robes?"
Am I expecting people what?
In robes.
In robes? No.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the clout to tell them to go away, and they're in your room. So you better go see them. They have disarmed. None of them have weapons, but that doesn't mean they don't have magic.
I have no idea what you just said. You cut out for that entire thing, I'm guessing.
She says there's a bunch of people wearing robes in your room, and she does not have the clout to stop them from being in your room. She disarmed them, but they may have magic, so go cautiously.
Oh boy. All right. I guess it's time to find out what's going on there.
Are you going to go up alone, or are you going to come get somebody? Anything like that? Everybody else is going to be in the other hotel.
No, I guess I'm gonna go up alone, but I'm going to have the mistress I guess look out for me just in case things go on.
She'll go upstairs and stand for a while, but she can't stay for however long they're going to be there because she has no idea.
That's fine as long as their business is above ground. That's okay by me.
She reminds you that anybody caught fighting in the dock is immediately kicked out and barred from the dock. This is a safe place. So if they start anything, she does have the legal clout to remove them permanently from the dock. But, you have to survive it if they start anything.
Absolutely. That's what I'm worried about.
All right, so just going to go upstairs and go in your room?
Yep.
Okay. The moment you walk into your room, you notice they've arranged the furniture in a U shape around a small table that they've brought with them. On the table is a small cask of what appears to be very good-looking wine, and one more goblet, silver goblet. They're all drinking out of silver goblets. When you walk in, they tell you, or the man that appears to be the leader sitting in the middle tells you, Douglas, close the door, sit down, and if you would like a drink of wine, feel free to pour yourself one.
Of course, gentlemen. To what do I owe the pleasure?
He clears his throat, and he says, well, Douglas, I'm sure you've heard by now that Kuwaith was found dead this morning in his house.
That I did hear. All the streets are abuzz with the news.
Indeed. And we know that he had a feud with you. I believe he last threatened to kill you the next time he sees you. And you have magic. Some pretty unpredictable magic. So it's possible you could have got one up on him. You see...
Unlikely. Have you seen what he could do?
We're well aware of his abilities, but you see, he appears to be dead of no discernible cause.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, if you're looking for a magical detective here, I'm pretty sure there's a better person to look into for this rather than a 10-year-old child.
We can investigate the magic ourselves. What we wanted to know is why he had it out for you.
Well, here's the story. If you guys have some time, it's a bit of a long one.
A prince is dead of no discernible cause. We have all of the time in the universe.
Alright, so here's a spoiler on it. It is going to be probably incredibly of disinterest to you guys. It's not really going to lead to anything, but I can tell you exactly what happened. So we were going to this town in order to look at the death curse, and as part of our gathering information, we went and spoke with Koi. He was a pretty nice guy. He was all right at the time. He opened us into his house. Our friend Sasmo helped him out with his fungus problem. There was a fungus creature, and it was kind of a weird creature. He was just afraid. So our friend helped him.
He leans forward and interrupts you and asks what you mean by a fungus creature.
It was kind of a little dude. He was made out of mushrooms, basically. He was just a giant mushroom. It was a giant sentient mushroom that could walk.
Did he have a blue tinge to him? Kind of like a glow?
I think so. I don't remember so well. This was like a month ago, and it was kind of trivial to me at the moment.
That's interesting. Continue your story, please.
Anyway, our friend
my friend helped him out with his fungus problem, in that his fungus was going to die, and he didn't want it to die. So we did help him out with that. Our friend spoke with it, and he communicated, and they found out that he was afraid because he was just taken transplanted and didn't really have a good home. So they helped him out finding a good home for him in the place. That was the end of that business. And one of our comrades, Devant, you'll remember her as the loser of the competition, got into a bet with her life, which ultimately ended in her death. So that was not so good. So I went over to I went to her funeral after we'd attempted to get out of there to help her out, and I sold myself into slavery at the dock. Well, not really slavery, more indentured servitude, and it was pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with how that turned out. I got this pretty nice set of robes. Don't you like it, guys? It's very nice, don't you think? Some nice material.
Yes, it's spectacular quality. But please continue your story.
Ah, yes. It's So I went on over to the funeral where they were doing some kind of a rite, I guess, to evils, I believe is who it was. I didn't know it at the time. I wasn't told anything about it. I believe that was who he worshipped. I think I might be incorrect in that, but that's entirely based on what I'm finding out after the fact here, anyway, or after the events that occurred. And whatever god showed up, I'm assuming it was evil, but I'm not exactly sure. He came down in the middle of the rite, and I said some words in the middle of the procession, like everyone was doing, but they stopped for some reason. So it seemed like he was expecting everybody to chant these words.
Okay, I'm gonna give him the words again.
He
Like, at this point, I've totally memorized these exact words because I tell the story so much.
Yeah, no, you get it right, and he just nods.
The god started laughing at him. Laughing at me. I think he seemed amused or happy or like he liked that. And then I got some kind of power from him, I think. And then I said these words, and he seemed happy, and he flew off. I have no idea what happened at the time, and Koei said that if he ever saw me again, he would kill me. So that was I've since made a very good point to stay as far away from his building as possible, because I don't know what the significance of that was. And clearly it was bad enough that a very nice man turned hostile. I'm hoping it's not what ultimately led to his death, but I've heard that the gods that he follows can be a little cruel, so that's not really what I want to be doing. Up until today, I was out of town. We were doing something downstream for other business with the duck. And today I was working on making a pizza for the dragon.
I see.
That's about all I got on it.
That's a very enlightening story. We'll have to investigate it a little further, but we don't detect a lie from you. So you're probably in the clear, but it would behoove you to go to his funeral tomorrow when the pyre happens. If you've been touched by the god as you believe you have been, then it perhaps is better for you to attend the funeral before the festivities.
Of course, I had every intention to go to his own funeral. I do still need to make the pizza, though, so I'm hoping that it's not going to cut into pizza making time that much.
Well, if your god shows up, it may cut into that, but usually these funerals are a very quick thing. tomorrow is a celebration day, so not many people are going to want to stick around at a funeral for too long.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. I definitely would see the benefit of going to a funeral there. Even if he hated me and wanted me dead on sight, like, it still makes sense to be there for him. I'm just afraid that he's gonna get up off the grave and try and kill me or something like that. It's honestly something that comes to mind as something he might do.
Well, with the death curse, you shouldn't have to worry about that. However,
I've seen some undead out there, honestly, so I'm a little worried.
yes, we're aware. They've been around for quite a while. Before the curse, even.
And they seem completely unaffected by the death curse ending.
I warn you, you will have to be tested after you leave before you leave the funeral. So be prepared to shed a little blood. Did you say something?
Yeah, tested for what?
Those that are god-touched at a Cheltish funeral must be tested to ensure that they are still god-touched when they leave. Of course, there is the matter of his inheritance, and if you are so touched with his power, then perhaps it is you that the inheritance will pass to.
Oh no, I don't want to cause any kind of trouble in that regard. That's not a thing that I want to do to him.
I want to be clear, you will not be inheriting the princeship, but you may very well inherit his home and his goods, depending on how much of his power resides within you.
Oh no, that's the part of it that I wouldn't want to take. The title's okay. I always wanted to be a merchant prince.
Well, unfortunately for you, that is the way of the devout, and they will test you if you have been known to be god-touched, especially if you've been god-touched with the power that was once bestowed to him.
Alright, if you say so. Is it only at the funeral that I can do this? Can I, do this test beforehand?
The test will occur after the body has disintegrated.
Oh, jeez, alright. I really hope this doesn't get into pizza making time. I might have to cook it a little bit sooner.
The stronger the power of the god is within a person, the faster their body will disintegrate.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we thank you for your time, and we will compensate you for that accordingly. I would also like to ask you to refrain from talking about the Yatepka Society, as we've heard rumors of you discussing society affairs with others. Any shade creatures that you may encounter are not part of the Yatepka Society. The Yatepka Society protects this city.
Are you saying that they're not the ones who, have these symbols?
I'm saying that is their symbol, but they do not use such underhanded tactics.
Yeah, I was pretty confused by that as well. I'm not sure what's involved in that. I haven't heard from them in a while, but, every time I see someone who claims to be from them, they're always doing some form of attacking on us. And that's just not okay. I mean, what should I be doing about them then? Should I be, reporting them to somebody, for investigation? Are they, fakes, or are they, real rogues? Are they, real people who think that I'm a threat to them or something?
The society is policed by the society. If you wish to report something, I'm afraid you'll have to get into contact with one of them. However, you will not find them to get in contact with them. They will find you.
Are you guys with the society?
I am not at liberty to discuss my affiliations.
Alright. So what you're saying is if I need to get in touch with you guys, with the Tepka Society, if I just wander around thinking, oh gee, I really wish that I could talk to the Tepka Society, I might come in contact with them?
They will contact you if they have need to contact you.
Okay, that's fair enough. I guess I'll leave a note somewhere or something for them to find. That's probably easier. Oh geez, that means I gotta find someone to write.
Do take care not to start another merchant war, please.
I'd really rather not. That would be a very bad thing.
We will take our leave now, and if you need anything, you can contact us by leaving a note at the front desk.
That's fair enough. That sounds like the kind of way that I could definitely deal with. And seeing as the front desk, the Mistress of the Duck is, in fact, a very good friend of mine, I'm sure that she will have no problem writing the note so that she can leave it with herself for you guys.
He nods. Then we will take our leaves for now. You have a enjoyable ceremony tomorrow.
Thank you very much, guys. If you need anything, any kind of a good time, you know where the duck is. Come on by good old Douglas Winchester.
All right, the rest of them funnel out of the room, and he leaves last. As he does, he lays his hand on the decanter, and the wine refills, and then he puts 5 gold on the table and walks out.
I'm gonna.
He also leaves the silver goblet for you.
Ooh, that looks nice. I'm gonna pocket the gold and I guess have a little wine here. A
Roll your
little more wine, I
Constitution.
guess.
This is really good wine, and it doesn't seem to affect you all that much.
Delicious.
All right. So I think that's the end of that day. The next morning, at the crack of dawn, everybody roll perception. Douglas sleeps through it.
Douglas is a growing adult. He will sleep through everything.
Parch immediately springs out of bed and grabs her weapons.
Uh-oh.
As does Kai. War Priest will probably wake up immediately, and Sasmo will defensively turn into a hamster and hide under a bed. So what Douglas just missed and everybody else heard, which was a bunch of very loud explosions outside. Is anybody running out the door to look?
Purchase.
I'm assuming we're going to go with my 22 rolls, so they accidentally hit twice. Yeah, I'm going to run out with arrow and bow ready.
Boy, don't you guys look silly. The moment you enter the street, you realize that it is already packed with people. There are masks everywhere on every building. Every one of them has a little token that says 1 silver. And the explosions you heard were high in the sky, and they're different colored lights that are popping and fizzing and zipping around the sky.
Perch puts back her great axe and walks back inside, hoping no one noticed. And gets ready for the day.
The poor speller is just, oh, okay. I'm gonna go back inside now.
So around a more normal time, I assume you guys will come out. And once you do, early in the morning, there starts to form a procession through town towards Kuwait's Manor, where they're going to have the funeral, basically in his front yard. And, there's a line for that, but everything else seems to be a lot of festivities. There's people bouncing around. There seem to be sales in nearly every market stall. There's all sorts of weird food vendors out that are now selling like sweets and different types of festival foods instead of their normal food wares. And there's one food vendor who's a very old-looking man who every time somebody comes by, he says, 25 silver for the day, 25 silver for the day. Eat anything you want at any of my booths all throughout the city.
Perch, confused by the festivities, never experiencing something like this, she'll do it. She's open to trying.
He gives you a crudely drawn map that shows 30 different food stalls that he's set up, and under each one listed is 3 or 4 different foods that you can get at that stall. And he says you can eat anything from any of these stalls all day long, and he hands you a little blue rod and tells you to show them at the stalls when you go there, and they will be more than happy to provide you with whatever service you require.
She smiles happily. Thank you. And she takes the rod and puts it in her pack and happily walks away. Gets free food, sort of. She's going to stuff her face and abuse the system.
And that's what he fully expects. Typically, cheap rations for a day are like 1 copper. Standard rations for a day are a silver. And 25 silver is basically getting you all the gourmet food you can eat today. And of course, he's got wine and ale at each one as well. It's just not listed because it's not some specialty. And he continues, catcalling random customers, telling them, the food is good. Whatever food it is today, it's only today. This food will not return until next celebration. So get it while you can. Anybody else want to take advantage of the 25 silver?
See, that seems like a Kai thing to do, but I don't know. Kai spent a bit of silver for paper.
These are limited engagement foods. They will be here today and only today, and you won't be able to get them again until next year.
Does it have 25 silver?
Well, you could buy them each individually, but if you're thinking about it, there's 30 stalls with 3 pieces of food each. That would be 90 silver if you had every single one of them.
Maybe Park will share with her.
No, it's all hers. She paid this, it's hers. She's abusing the system.
Or Park could tell her what they taste like and she could take notes.
She could, but she's going to happily eat it herself.
That sounds like the worst way to spend a celebration, describing what food tastes like to somebody that's writing it down.
Tastes like chicken.
Every single piece of this tastes like chicken, including the chicken and not excluding the boar.
Even the ale tastes like chicken.
Anyway, Douglas, I'm assuming you're going to go straight first thing to the funeral?
Yep.
Are you going
Assuming
to
that that's happening first thing.
Are you going to stand in line?
How long's the line?
Quite long. Roll perception when you get to it. As you come up to the line, you notice that a lot of people in the line that can see you recognize you and seem to back away from you. In the meantime, the line stretches probably about a mile through town. This is just all the commoners that are going to pay their respects today. And you know for a fact that there's not enough room in his yard to have them all there for the full funeral.
Well, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to let my partner in pizza know that what's going to be going on today. So let them know that I have to go to a funeral, apparently, and that I will. If I'm not there in such and such a time in order to actually make the pizza on time, start prepping the ingredients without me.
He understands there's a lot of cooking that needs to be done, so he's going to start cooking immediately, or at least prepping the ingredients. He wishes you the best of luck in hopes that you will inherit the most of his fortunes.
Oh, geez, I kind of hope so. But not as much as his family. That would be kind of rude.
He kind of chuckles and says that they deserve it.
I mean, I'm not gonna say they don't, but it's a political thing at that point there. If they see that I've inherited more than, I don't particularly want to have to look over my shoulder every night. You know what I'm saying?
He highly suggests you look over your shoulder every night anyway.
I usually sleep pretty well over at the dock.
Yeah, but the moment you leave the dock, you are accessible to the world. And perhaps somebody with so many rumors about them should not... The moment you leave the dock, you're accessible to the world. And perhaps somebody with so many rumors about them should not sleep so easily, given that about a half of the city hates you.
All right, well, let's go ahead and head over to the funeral then, I guess.
So you're gonna walk straight past the line?
I'm gonna walk towards the front gate over there and see if they are going to let me in like at that point there. But if not, then I'm gonna turn around and head to the back of the line.
When you get to the front gate, you notice that the Chaltish priests that held the funeral for DuPont are in charge here as well. And as you approach, they notice you coming, and they immediately kind of usher you in to the boos of the crowd. And they seem to hold up a very large cloak around you, protecting you from the sight of the crowd as they funnel you into the front yard.
Okay.
When you get there, you realize that he has instructed everybody for his funeral to have a much smaller funeral than was held for DuPont. It looks like there's enough seating for maybe 30 to 40 people, and the rest will be funneled in to say their final goodbyes before the pyre is started. But it'll basically be a walk-in, walk-out situation for everybody. Roll your perceptions. Or roll your perception. You don't notice any of the people that are here. I'm guessing you're going to take a seat somewhere near the pyre, or are you going to sit more towards the back?
I think that the appropriate place would be closer to the fire.
Okay.
As much as I'd like to sit in the back corner somewhere, it seems appropriate to be up by the fire.
Roll perception again anyway. Oh, good. You noticed the priest that walked straight up to you. He leans forward and asks if you have been God-touched.
I believe that I have been. I think Evil's touched me at the last one that he was a part of.
Show me where the God touched you. No. He asks you to put out your hand, flat, palm facing up.
All right.
He pulls out a small metal dagger. It seems to be made out of silver, but it doesn't quite look silver. And he lays it like it's going to be laying in your palm, but about 3 inches above your palm, he drops it. And it just kind of hovers there. He nods for a second, puts the dagger away, and says, "It appears you have been God-touched and somebody activated your powers," which is interesting for somebody that doesn't know they've been God-touched.
Yeah, I took a drink of some pretty dingy water.
Roll perception.
Oh, I have advantage on perception. I forgot about that.
You notice that he seems to retch for a whole second thinking about the liquid, and then immediately stops and regains his composure. Anybody less perceptive wouldn't have noticed it. What did you say?
Yeah, that's about what I did too.
He shakes his head, and he just says, "You should be wary of his child."
It should be what about what?
Wary of his child. And then he'll
I'm
walk
very
off.
wary.
You notice on your last perception that there is a man that appears to be about 3/4 of the height of Kuwaith. Kind of looks like Kuwaith, and he is wearing only a single loincloth. He has no weapons, no armor to speak of. He has tribal tattoos up and down his chest, and he has the same kind of hairstyle Kuwaith has. And he's just glaring at you from across the pyre. He's sitting at the exact opposite side of you.
I'm going to get up and approach him and make a point to condole him for his losses.
Roll your, I guess this is going to be persuasion, unless you're using charm person.
No.
He was a good man. He didn't deserve what happened to him. If anybody knows what happened to him, I don't, but whatever happened to him, he doesn't deserve to be dead. No one deserves to die.
The man is completely bewildered and just says, "Do you know the way? Death is a part of life. It is something that is natural that all hunters would understand and obey. My father especially is one of those men."
I meant no offense by that. I just meant that I'm sorry it was not his time. I don't think. I guess it might have been his time, but it didn't seem like it was his time last I saw him. seemed like he was so full of life still.
He did not trust you, and I would follow in his example of not trusting you. So you will excuse me if I am curt, but I am here to see my father off to the underworld, and to understand who shall be inheriting all of his stuff.
I have no idea what you say. You just cut out entirely for that.
He says, you will excuse me if I am being curt with you, but my father did not trust you, and I will follow in his example. Therefore, I am here to see my father off to the underworld. And once that is done, I will understand the full extent of the inheritance that is left and to who it is left to. So you will excuse me again if I am being curt.
I understand. I honestly want nothing of the inheritance of this. It's just, I guess the way of the place. I'm still not used to the customs,
The devout bequeath upon to their souls the items that they achieved or created in life. You have stolen a piece of the soul of my father, and therefore you will be bequeathed something. I do not know the extent to which you will be bequeathed, but the priests will tell us.
I'm sure that they will. Anyway, once again, I'm sorry about his death, and I too hope to see him well on the way to his final resting. I hope that nothing bad happens to him and all that stuff.
I bet you would see him to his grave. He did threaten to kill you after all, and my father was good on his threats.
I had no ill will against him. I'm not entirely sure why he wanted me dead or anything like that, but I was willing to let that go the moment that it happened.
You stole a piece of his soul. He would never let that go.
I don't know how that even happened, honestly.
But then perhaps you should study the religion into which you have been forcibly abducted by the god Evils.
Yeah, those gods can be kind of a bitch sometimes, huh? You know what I'm saying?
The gods do as the gods will.
Absolutely. It's not for us to understand, I suppose.
Now, if you will excuse me, I must go console my mother, for she loved that man even though he did not love her.
Absolutely. Send her my regards as well.
I do not think she would wish to hear from you, so I will spare her that indignity. He gets up and he walks over to a woman that just entered the area, who is about 4.5 feet tall. She very clearly is a different subrace of human from this continent that you haven't seen yet.
I'm going to go return to my seat. It would be rude to take his seat.
All right. After about a half an hour, they start funneling people in. Kuwait has been brought out, put on the pyre, dressed in his finest, journey to the underworld gear, if you will. And there are several magical items that are on the body when they're about to set the fire up. After about another hour or so, they've funneled through everybody that's walking in, and quite a mass of flowers, beads, and other little memorabilia have been left on the pyre with his body. And once that ends, they begin the ceremony. It's very, very much the same as the ceremony that happened with DuPont. There's a total of about 20 people here. They all seem pretty devout. It's the same call and response setup. You can go ahead and roll perceptions as the fire starts to engulf the body.
Oh boy, I know these words.
I'll give you 3 perception rolls.
Is it using my eyes? Okay. I ask because of the advantage that I have only applies to using my eyes.
As the chanting started to pick up, a small figure started to appear in the flames, made entirely out of the flames. The figure grew and grew and grew, but seemed to not be paying attention to anybody. It's just got its eyes dead set, staring on you. Every time a call and response happens, it appears to acknowledge the response, but nobody else seems to be noticing it. You feel a bit funny. You can either roll a wisdom save, or you can let whatever weird thing is happening happen.
Well, if it is in fact the god, it'd be rude to stop him. This is his right as the funeral and the host of patron of this guy.
Okay, Thunk. So yeah, roll a Constitution save. Unfortunately, you pass out. And you wake up sometime after the body has been completely consumed. And there is a small contingent of priests that seem to be trying to work some form of magic to wake you up.
Oh, I'm up. What happened?
The priest says you passed out during the chanting. You were fine 1 second, and then suddenly you were completely unconscious and you fell out of your seat.
I think I saw the god. Evils.
Ebles was not here.
I was pretty sure I saw him in the flames.
Ebles does not manipulate the flames.
Strange. Who was in the flames?
Well, perhaps you saw an imp. Either way, the body has gone up, and the ceremony is over, so now we must discuss inheritance with his family. If you will kindly follow us into the antechamber.
That's fair.
Roll dex as you try to walk.
I'm gonna ask for a glass of water first.
Alright, they'll bring you a cup of water, but you're still going to have to roll dex to walk.
Okay.
You're very, very wobbly, but you make it just fine. You feel weak. You feel sick. You feel like something is seriously wrong with you. And they've set up some seating in a little bit of a U shape. And there is a small altar with a silver bowl on it and a silver dagger. Very much the same as the silver dagger that floated above your hand earlier. And there's a purple flame coming out of the altar bowl. They ask everybody to come forward one at a time and drip a drop of blood into the bowl. I'm assuming you're going to go along with that.
Yep.
Well, now's the time to see how the dice favor you, so go ahead and roll your dice tower of a D100. I'm assuming you're going to go low.
Absolutely. And if it means anything to my actual health, I am going to cast false life on myself in order to gain temporary HP in order to try and not die. That would give me 8 extra HP, temporary HP.
You feel a bit sturdier on your feet, but you're still feeling like something's wrong. And it looks like you rolled a... Yeah, you did roll. Cool. Do you want me to roll or do you want to roll? 1d11. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't want
Did you want me to roll or do you want to roll 1d11?
1d11. I can roll that.
Go for it. Damn.
It's a solid roll. Unless I was rolling low, in which case that was a really bad roll.
Now you're rolling to determine who gets what. I've got a list of things that I'm going down, and I've got a list of people in priority order. So go ahead and roll the next thing. Same thing, 1d11. Try it again. Time to get something different.
Should I keep going, or?
Yeah, just hold on. Let me have some time to write things down.
Someone's getting a lot of stuff.
Go for it. I'm not trusting your D11 here. Roll a D10, and if you get a 10, I'll just assume it's number 11 since we've already dealt with 10.
Where's the D10 gone? Oh, there it is.
Hiding from you. Next up, go for it. 7. All right, next. Roll again. Okay. Next. Next. And one more. Roll it again.
Do I re-roll that since 7's already been rolled?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
8's already been rolled. 10's been rolled.
Roll a d4.
Or 6 can get it.
Fair enough. 6 will get it then. All right. So the way that this worked is they divided it up based on the amount of power people had that was his, basically. His son got the arena and the gladiators that he owned. His wife, well, not his wife, but the girl he impregnated got nothing. Some of his siblings got the lands that he owned outside of the city the Magic Forge. Somebody got the dino stables and the dinos that he owned. Another person ended up getting a bunch of money. And the last two people got his seaworthy vessels and all of the magic items from his house. And what you inherited was his house and his animals.
Oh, no.
Keep in mind, his house is a palace, technically.
Man, that is what I wanted the least out of what he had.
Hey, you got really close to getting his boats. So you should be happy. Mr. I blow up on boats.
Look, I may be afraid of boats, but I know we need them. That would have been good for me.
Yeah, well, now you're the owner of a merchant palace. Have I mentioned that the Duck has an amazing deal in store for you?
Tell me more.
Well, you see, they haven't had a very good business front end for selling their wares, and a merchant palace has a great showing room for all sorts of magical things. And they're more than happy to cut you in on the deal for 20 to 30% commission and a monthly rental fee for the space.
And that'll help pay for manservants. And groundskeepers.
I'm sure it will. The Merchant Guild also has an amazing deal for you, but you won't know this until the news is made public at the end of the day, basically. So anyway, you can feel free to go about and enjoy your ceremony. And his son, on his way out, kind of grips your shoulder nice and tightly in one of those I'm going to break your shoulder kind of ways. And through grit teeth tells you that he hopes you live many years in the house and that the animals do not devour you today. And then he leaves.
Man, I feel like I got the thing that puts the largest crosshair on my back.
Aren't you so lucky?
Ugh. But now I can work on my title as Merchant Prince.
Well, no. Technically speaking, the prince is still his son. So you just took the palace from a prince, that's all. Maybe you should set up a game of cards where you accidentally lose it to him by fixing the deck.
Maybe.
Anyway, beautiful, fun party day. Anybody want to do anything outside of the party day? You all noticed that the little inlet there at the harbor has the chain up so no boats can come in or out. And there seems to be like this massive anticipation of the turtle making an appearance inside the bay.
Parsh is gonna just have 2 giant handfuls of food, and she's gonna make her way over to the dock. She sees everyone's heading over that way.
Yep. Everybody's heading over that way because this is the festival for the turtle in honor of his protection of the island. And he has agreed to allow people to swim for free instead of his normal shakedowns on this festival day. So there's kids swimming in the lake and the harbor. There's people with little tiny boats going out and around trying to catch glimpses of the turtle under the water. And there's some little jackass driving a cart full of pizza.
I am going to see if the new estate has better pizza making facilities than what we were going to than what we were going to do previously.
The cook tells you he absolutely does not have an oven large enough for what you want, so you should stick with the potter's oven. However, he can make any gourmet meal you wish.
Understood. I promised him I'd make it with my own 2 hands.
Then might he suggest you use the following herbs? This isn't enough for the size of food you're making, but he's sure you can get the rest of the herbs in town. He hands you 1 green leafy herb. It's like probably each leaf is about 2 to 3 inches long and weirdly shaped. It's not a normal like ovalish shape. It's kind of jagged. And then the other is a very long stemmed plant that he tells you to dice up and sprinkle in the sauce.
Okay. I'm gonna head into town and purchase those,
By the 10-pound full
Those
for
leaves.
10 gold. Most expensive meal ever.
Look, I promised him I'd do it.
I know, it's great, and War Priest would be, like, getting angry at you if you didn't try to fulfill your promise, so... He's actually probably going to sit around and help you, as will Sasmo, because, I mean, you promised, and there was no reason not to help you. So anybody that's going to be at the harbor before midday should roll their spots, or their perceptions.
War Priest would probably be there.
Alright, so War Priest, Parch, and Kai all notice that there's something massive moving under the water. And it appears like there's these really bright green eyes under the water staring up, and they're massive. It seems as though the turtle may have arrived. People start cheering when they start to see the eyes, and the whole island shakes.
Parch instinctively goes for, like, puts a hand on her great axe, but doesn't do anything.
Alright, so after a few minutes, the eyes get closer and closer to the surface, and a massive water spout shoots up into the air, capsizing a few boats. As this massive head, I'm going to say probably 40 to 50 feet long, 20 to 30 feet tall, and about 35 feet wide, surfaces and just does a sweeping gaze of the entire harbor in like maybe 2 seconds. Feel free to roll your Constitution saves. Unless you want to panic and run away. Okay, well, y'all panicked and ran away anyway, so it turns out those weren't useful. At some point, somebody will stop you and be like, it's okay, guys, it's okay. He's here to celebrate. He's not going to destroy anything. He does this every year. It's a show that we've all come to expect.
Parch takes in a big deep breath and just, like, tries to calm herself down.
So, hey Ghost, I foobard. That was the Constitution, the fear, which was a throw against being feared, right?
Yeah, this is against the fear aura.
I get advantage on those rolls.
Alright, roll again. Let's see how good you did. still not enough to overcome it. But, you know, instead of, like, trailing shit down your legs through town, you only pissed yourself. So, there's that. Some dignity remains intact.
Scholarly dignity is still intact.
Oh no, that when you became a big game hunter.
So you don't know that, shush.
Anyway, when you get back there, the aura seems to have dissipated, and there's just the head peeking out of the water. You can see down that his neck goes very deep, and he kind of moves to the side a little and creates some waves for everybody who's in the water to play with, because the sea was pretty calm until he did that. And he seems to be generally having a good time. People will occasionally get close to the head and ask him a question or two, and there will be a booming response that everybody from miles around can hear. And, you know, the people that are closest to him may end up needing hearing protection at some point. They're mostly inane questions, like, what do you eat? And he says the tributes that people send him, or like, what do you do all day? And he basically says, I make sure that ships have the required entry and exit fees. He basically answers as if he's the harbor master. Anybody want to swim or ask him a question or anything?
I'm going to walk over and ask how long he's been, like, guarding this island.
He regards your form carefully and says that he has been here since the gods were infants and has watched their squabbles as they fought over this small piece of land.
Okay. I thank him politely. Go eat my food.
He politely responds and wishes that you have a great day.
I wish him the same.
Tsukai, do you have any questions? I know you spent an entire day writing them down.
You know she has a giant list of questions.
Does she just run straight up to the head and like, question, 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 question?
She just keeps bombarding him with questions. Like, look, I'm sorry, but I have to do things for school, so I need answers. I have research that needs to be done. Please help.
He just kind of watches you and is like, and your question is?
She just asks him one at a time each question she has.
Yeah, but what questions do you have for him?
Like, how long has he been here at Chult? What can he tell her about Chult? What has he seen?
You're going to have to ask more specific
Is there
questions
anything
than that. You've already got the
important that
answer
you would
to
like
how
people
long he's
from
been
the outside
here.
would know?
You already got the answer to how long he's been here.
Basic questions that scholar would ask.
Yeah, but I need to know the questions you're asking so I can give you the answers. So, like, the answer to the how long you've been here question is the same. Like, you just heard it a few seconds ago, so you wouldn't ask it again. So did you have a specific question, or you want me to go to Casey and then I can answer your questions one by one once you've formed them?
It's mainly just like basic basic, like, scholar, I want to know certain questions type of things. Like, how long has he been there? What does he do other than shake people down for money? You know, is there anything he wants the outside world to know about Schultz? Stuff like that.
Okay, but for you to have those answers, I have to have the questions. I can't just give you random information. This is your chance to ask any random questions you want about the story, about the background, something from history you think would be useful in stopping the death curse. Like, you have to ask specifics. I can't just give the information out. But you already know how long he's been here, since the gods were infants. You know what he does. He shakes down boats. He's the harbor master, essentially, is his answer. All the other basic questions people ask, like things like, what do you eat? You know, do you poop? Things like that. Those questions always get asked and answered.
Well, here's one for him. Why did he come to Schultz?
He was born in Chult. And then he decided to stay when the gods became feeble critters that could not make up their minds, because somebody needed to protect them and this land from them. All right, I'll just move to Casey, and then when you think of questions, you can kind of butt in. Casey, about midday, you're probably going to be done cooking pizza. Well, a little bit past mid-afternoon, really. So I'm assuming you're just going to bring it all over.
Ooh, pizza! Alright, so let's go ahead and wheelbarrow it over to him.
For the record, you made about 14 carts worth of pizza. You're not wheelbarrowing anything over. You're carting shit over with the help of the duck.
Okay, let's cart it all over.
As you start to get near the ocean and can be seen from the water, you hear a booming voice saying, "Douglas Winchester, I hope you have made good on your promise."
I certainly have! I've brought the pizza! It's all the equipment!
So once you get around the bay to where his head is, he just kind of like regards everything here and tries not to move too much, because too much of a fast movement will probably send a lot of water onto shore. But he asks you to line up the carts next to the bay in a line.
Alright, I'll do as he asks.
And then he tells you to move back.
That I will do. I'm not in the business of getting eaten by a dragon.
So his head extends much further out of the water, revealing that his neck seems to have like all sorts of weird growths on it, and like bottom feeding like animals, and there are some plants growing out of some of the scales. And he swipes every single one of those carts in one bite, along with a small like harbor master hut on the side, and probably destroys a few docks as he does so. High or low?
Always low.
He finds the food delicious and exclaims that you are the best chef that has ever brought an offering to him. And he asks what you would have of him. Douglas Winchester, chef.
Oh, I wish nothing more than to have our debts squared.
Still going low?
Yep.
He insists that he is able to pay you in some form, as this was a meal fit for a king that was much greater than the debt you owed.
No, but without your motivation, wouldn't have gone on to become as good a chef as you needed in order to make this great meal. I am wondering though, if everybody's out here asking you questions and stuff here, would you happen to know anything about the death curse that's going on?
He says a great deal. Is this the information that you wish to share amongst the people as your payment?
Well, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea to know what's going on with the death curse, but like, I don't know if everybody should be hearing it. Some people probably don't have the most pure of hearts in this crowd, I'm sure.
Then come back at sundown and jump in the water, and I shall tell you.
Excellent, I would be more than happy to do so.
All right, he'll just go on with the normal, everyday goings on.
I'm glad you enjoyed the food.
Anybody else want to do anything during the festival? Have you figured out any more questions you'd like to ask Emerald?
Nope. But I did have my curiosity peaked when the certain curse was brought up.
Okay, but he's going to share that with Douglas.
Right? Yeah, I have an idea. But I need to find Douglas first.
I mean, it's not going to be hard to find Douglas. There's
I'm
vast
apparently
amounts of
now a
people.
minor celebrity.
There's vast amounts of people keeping away from him, and small amounts of people mobbing him.
That sounds like celebrities.
Yep.
Careful you don't get mugged.
So you're going to find Douglas, and then you're going to say what to him?
Ask if I can be present when they talk about the death curse so I can take notes on it.
I mean, someone's gonna need to detail and chronicle the stuff, but the problem is, I don't know that your papers can do well in the water.
We shall figure it out.
Maybe we shall figure it out. Here, just take one of those papers from you.
I'm gonna take a sheet of paper from you and toss it in the water.
Yes, I know what paper does in water.
Well, we found out.
Anybody want to go swimming or anything? Will you still have a chance to not get shaken down for swimming?
Parch as far away from the water as possible at this point. She's not going in there because fire.
I figured. But it's a great way
She's
to
like,
electrocute a lot of people
nope.
at once with your axe.
Yes, but water. She's had enough of water when they were on the boat. She's like, no. She saw the big turtle, and now she's just like, back to food.
Douglas swam in the harbor once before already.
I was only afraid of the harbor because she got mugged by this turtle.
And Douglas was afraid of the harbor because he also got mugged by the turtle.
That he did.
The turtle fleeces anybody that touches the water.
technically she fell on a boat when she was falling into the water, so she technically didn't touch the water, and he still mugged her.
No, you touched the water. They flipped you off of it.
That's true.
Yeah, you were fine until they flipped the boat.
And that's important because otherwise your ship was paid for.
Anyway, I'm
Give
assuming
me a
everybody's...
second, guys. Continue. I hear squeaking. I have to make sure my kids are okay.
Okay.
So this is going to make a point to take a short rest while he is at this festival. And attempt to not feel like shit.
You're pretty much going to be recovered once you've had a rest.
Okay. What wound number should I write before I roll hit die?
You haven't actually taken any wounds. It's a magical sickness.
Okay.
It's like a casting fever when you've overextended your magic. Except you didn't overextend your magic, something else did.
So Gaston decided he was going to do one last thing to try and kick my ass. He saw me one more time and decided he was going to make good on killing me the next time he saw me.
I mean, he didn't do anything. I guess technically he did do something. He left you a house and animals. Anyway, about at sundown, you're going to go back to the harbor and jump in?
Absolutely.
All right. The moment you do, you kind of hear this voice in your head, and it's very deep and matches the turtle. And you kind of see his eyes just under the water. And do you want me to share everything that he's going to tell you via voice, or do you want me to write it down and give it to you as a note?
I think I would like to have a note, because I'm sure I'm going to need to refer to this information again.
Alrighty. So let's do this. You can ask me your questions, and I'll tell you when I've written the full amount of the note to answer your questions.
Okay. And just so that we can go ahead and do this as well, I am going to use Alter Self on myself in order to change appearance to aquatic. Adapt my body in an aquatic environment to sprout gills and webbing.
Does that actually change your body?
It does. It changes my body in such a way that I now have gills and webbing on my fingers and stuff. I'm now an aquatic creature for the duration of this transformation.
Then when he
It lets me stay underwater.
When he sees that, he'll suggest you take a swim down further because it's quite an interesting place down here.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Roll your perception when you swim deeper. How far are you going to go?
Well, I am going to... I guess I will cast... I guess I don't need light, do I?
Not if
No,
you're
I
an
have dark
aquatic
vision.
creature.
Dark vision and aquatic, yeah. I'll go down to the bottom if that's where he's at. I'm gonna head for him.
All right, that's quite a ways, but you will eventually start to see like an entire reef on the back of what appears to be a shell. Roll your perception when you get that far down.
with the perception roll, what happened?
His body is massive. It might very well be as big as this island and extends far off into the distance. It also appears to have petrified trees and a little city on it.
Ooh.
There are some really nice stone buildings that are carved on his back, and you can see a lot of like sea life that has made home here now. There's some plant life growing, and this extends far out of your field of vision. But you also notice a glint of some sort of metal a little bit further down near his leg, which extends off into the darkness down below.
All right, it is pretty cool down here.
The voice in your head says, "I have been here for many millennia. I can attest to the interesting sights of this land." On your perception, you also notice that there's a ton of different minerals, and the further you go down, the more precious the minerals become, until you see veins of diamond just in the wall, the rock wall.
Yeah, there's no way I'm touching that. That's totally a dragon horde.
But it is quite beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Okay, I gotta head off and get ready for bed. But Parch, basically during this entire festival, is just going to be stuffing her face and getting to know the people of the town.
And Parch is going to become very friendly with a lot of people because there's a lot of people stuffing their faces with this deal. It's like a tradition. And the fact that you're also participating in their tradition means that you've got to be cool.
Alright. That's what she's doing. And she's also going to get shit-faced.
Sounds like the kind of party that these people like.
Okay, good night, friends.
Have a good night.
Night, Lion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he basically says in your head, ask your questions, yearling.
Well, I am interested in whether or not I was told before that the origins of this curse come from a lich's sword of some sort that has been lost in this area. Is that true? Then I was also told that.
Hold on. I'm still typing.
Okay.
All right, next question.
And I was told that in order to was it complete destroy to stop the curse there or something like that. It involved those puzzle boxes. What he knows about those and the way that those play into all of this. And if he knows where some of them might be.
Oakley dokley, I've got that one down.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask on let's see, on whether or not he's aware of the lich that that supposedly the red dudes, I forget what they're called.
What about the Red Wizards?
So what they were called?
The Red Wizards are the people that are searching for the boxes.
Right. I asked him if he's aware of them and how bad it would be if the Red Wizards were to get a hold of that sword. And whether just simply destroying the sword would be a way to lift the death curse.
Okay, that one's answered.
Okay. Else would I ask him? Oh, does he have any idea why why there are undead who seem to be unaffected by this death curse? Where they seem to be some form of conjuration, but how are unbound conjurations able to move freely through the world? And in that vein, how is a lich still alive?
Any more questions?
Yes. God, I had a. All right. This one's less about the death curse and more about myself. Was I really touched by evils? And why doesn't he want me identifying and really seeing further with his power? What does he want from me?
All right, that was a long one. Any more questions?
Yep. This one's a simple one. What should I call him? Because I only know him as the dragon.
Ah, he is Vazul, master of the sea, protector of life, guardian of Chult, and life bringer of Traxalia. I just realized that that one's probably one that's pretty easy to share.
Yeah.
Your last question? As in, that was your
How do
last
you
question?
spell that?
Going once, going twice.
Well, how do you spell Isbazul?
Oh, I wrote it down in the thing. Vazul.
Aside from the question that I sent you on the other thing there, I guess it's 3 questions.
That's in here.
Then I guess that's probably about it.
All right. Did it open up for you?
Yep.
Have fun reading.
Okay.
And Kai, the masks that you probably bought this morning, you probably bought one, which is 9 masks total, but 1 for each of the gods of Shult.
Ooh.
10 if you included the one of the turtle, but he's not considered a god, so there's that.
I would have probably bought one of the turtle.
I figured you probably would have bought one of each. I just forgot there was a turtle one when I told you about the 9 gods of Shult, but yeah. I think we're probably good here, unless you guys want to do something else on Festival Day.
I think other than buying stuff, Kai be probably tasting some of the food.
Yeah, there's special foods today. One of the most special is like a turtle cake. It's shaped to look like a turtle, and it's absolutely delicious. All of the special foods are remarkably good and remarkably cheap compared to how much you would expect to spend for something of this gourmet status. Enjoying that note, Casey?
Yep.
Feel like sharing any of it?
I feel like sharing it directly to the Mistress of the Duck.
Ah, I see. But not with your party?
No, she's my mom.
Well, she'll tell you that it's a lot of good work that you've done there. And she would like to commission you to go find the puzzle cubes and then put together a party to search the ruins for Soulmonger.
Yup, we'll be doing that.
All right, then. Sounds like there's a plan. She'll trust you to get together the teams that you need.
I lost you there, what was that?
She'll trust you to get the teams that you need together.
Yep.
Also, she congratulates you on the inheriting the palace. It's quite an achievement. And even though it doesn't seem it at the moment, it does put you in the running for any form of political office in the town. Though you may not become prince, because it's usually hereditary, but the other princes may vote you to become a prince if they believe your contributions worthy. And she gives you that deal I told you about. Are you going to go back to your new house, or are you going to go back to the Duck?
I think I'm going to go back to the Duck for the night, and then the next day give it a good once over and make it more home before I take to sleeping there.
Okay, well, you don't notice anything tonight then, but tomorrow when you go back to the house, there's a bulletin posted on the door for you, requesting your presence at the Merchants Guild.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're going to go?
Yep.
This is a special occasion. They have the Guildmaster come out to meet with you directly, and he tells you that he would like to make a deal with you for selling of wares of the Merchant Guild in your home. Of course, since you're not a practiced wizard, they'll happily have a wizard put proper protections on all of the items, and they'll make sure to cut you in on the deal for any sales, and they'll be willing to pay you a storage fee because you'll be using your home to sell things, if that is, of course, okay with you.
I will accept to that, but I'm also going to mention that the Duck has also offered a similar deal, and will likely also be selling wares in the same area.
He is not okay with that. It needs to be an exclusive thing. The Duck isn't part of the Merchants Guild, as he's sure you know. And he really believes that merchants should stick together, not whoremongers.
See, the thing is, I've already accepted this with the Duck. Exclusive is unfortunately not a thing that I can do with that. It would have to be shared space, or I can't unfortunately put anything else there. I love you guys, and I would love to be able to have you in my house as well. But I'm not going to be able to do exclusivity. They're good people, they have lots of information, and honestly, as information brokers, they may actually be able to help out a lot as an alliance between the two guilds.
Which two guilds?
The Duck and the Merchants Guild.
Roll a persuasion. You heard me, right? Roll a persuasion.
I didn't hear you. But I will roll it. Oh no.
He looks pensive for a minute and then says, I never thought about it that way. Perhaps we can make a deal with them. I will discuss it with the mistress at the Duck and get back to you as to whether or not we can share the space.
That sounds excellent. And unfortunately, as you know, once a deal is made, it can't necessarily be broken in this regard, so I'm sure you understand.
He just kind of grunts and walks off back towards his office. He summons a scribe to follow him. Anyway, when you get back there, you notice that even though a lot of the magical weapons have been taken, most of the normal gear is left for sale. And there's a whole wing of the house that is filled with riches. That just really nice furniture, really nice stuff in general, that's been closed off to the public. There's 2 wings in the house in general for sale. There's fine crafted goods on one side, and on the other side there's the normal magical goods and other rare goods that he would bring in. Most of the rare and magical goods have been taken. There may be 1 or 2 things here or there. And as far as the artisan goods are concerned, they're all taken. The only thing you get here is pretty standard stock, like standard swords and whatnot, that he was going to turn into something but never got the chance to.
Right, it's a whole crafting thing there.
Yep. You also notice that there's a staircase, a spiral staircase leading down in the center of the house. It's kind of hidden, but you find it pretty easily once you realize that there's a hidden door there. And down below, there's a massive room, which essentially is one room, but it's the size of the entire house. And it's one massive crafting area. There's a fine workbench on one side. There is an alchemy set on another side. And then the largest side, there's all sorts of forge equipment and magical tools for forging things.
Oh man, that's really cool. It's a shame I'm not a craftsman, by any means of the word.
Anyway, nobody in the public knows about this, obviously, because the duck would have immediately told you about it and asked you to rent it out. So if you go share the knowledge, she'll have craftsmen down there working. But she'll also suggest that you not tell anybody else and keep it a secret of the duck.
Absolutely. Information mongers and, honestly, my family at this point.
She's going to tack on some money for renting that space from you.
Is she going to also put on the enchantments since I'm not capable of it for the?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, she's going to put alarms on everything.
I figured I would check.
She's also going to install one of the rod payment systems. So that way, anybody that she deems worthy, VIP members of the duck, can come in and grab an item and just walk out. And if the alarm doesn't go off, then you're good. And she's going to have guards there to kind of keep an eye on the store.
All right.
Anyway, when you go out back to where he keeps the animals, because they're now all your animals, you notice that the fungus has taken over the entire backyard. Every portion of it looks like that original blue fungus guy, except they don't appear to be sentient or moving, but they're growing everywhere, even on the side of the house.
Oh. Well, that's expanded.
You also don't see any of the other animals, just the fungus.
I'm gonna need to go get Sasmo.
All right. And guessing you want Sasmo to try to talk to the fungus?
Yep.
Are you guys going to go out and try to find the fungus guy? Because this stuff looks non-sentient.
What was that?
The fungus doesn't look sentient. Are you going to try to find the fungus guy, or are you just going to try to talk to any old piece of fungus?
Find the fungus guy first.
You're going to go out into the backyard full of mushroom? Like, the backyard is essentially one giant mushroom. Like, not like one big mushroom, but like it's everything that you can see, walk on, touch, breathe is mushroom.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
That's why I asked if you're going to go into it.
I will defer to Sasbo, point of expertise.
Sasbo closes the door and says he is not qualified to deal with that.
Qualified?
He highly suggests you pay somebody that is a specialist in fungus to go out there because he's afraid it could very well kill both of you.
Well, I guess I gotta go find a fungus inspector.
Alright, then I will leave it there for the next game. Not very fun, Gus.
Man, we might be on a fungus adventure.
Oh man, he's gonna go find some fun guys out there?
Yup. Some fun guys.
I have a sleeping